Okay, this is time for lesson number 3 in the pre-cal course. So I'm going to keep doing these until we get them all done. So we're doing lesson number 3 at this point. Remember, if you need to turn things in, you need to get them in within 28 days. If you don't get them in, they go permanent zero. You don't want that occurring. So make certain you get them turned in to me. Sorry, had to hiccup there a little bit. Okay. Where we're at is the lesson 3, which is over linear equations and linear functions. When you go through this lesson here, it starts talking about linear functions. And one of the things you're going to be studying is slope. So guess what? You're going to be doing that slope function and using the linear equation functions that you've learned in the past. What are the two linear equation functions that we have learned and that we need to make certain we remember all the time? Well, there are two of them. There was the slope intercept, which was y, which is the same as saying f of x is equal to mx plus b, right? Where mx plus b has meaning. What does the b mean? That means that's the intercept. That's where it hits the y-intercept. And the m, that represents the slope. Well, we could also say f of x is to find it another way, right? There was another type of formula we used, and I'm not going to use f of x for this one. I'm just going to say y minus f of x equals m times x minus x1. Okay, I'm going to put a 1 on that because that's the x1 that I'm looking for. Okay, this x1 is the value that I'm substituting in here for x. So if I'm given 2 points, I can use this one, x and x1, y and y1. Remember that? Those are the two formulas. This is called the point slope formula. And this one was called the slope intercept. Those are the two formulas that we were given in algebra that we used a lot for finding the slope of lines. You're going to be doing that a little bit in these lessons, okay? So this lesson 1, you're going to be finding out how to write some equations, and you'll look at it from 3 different perspectives: a table, a graph, and a linear equation. But those linear equations are the ones you're going to need to work with a little bit because you need to make certain you know how to do them. Study 2 starts talking about art and how there's a perspective. Well, one of the things that you should have learned in geometry is some particular issues about slope. Whoops, wrong page. That page is the one I want. Yeah. So there's some particular things about slope. Slope of parallel lines, parallel, never meets, is the same. So if I'm looking at two lines, they're parallel, their slope is the same. If I'm looking at perpendicular lines, perpendicular, what does perpendicular mean? It means they make a 90-degree angle, perpendicular. Spelling is not my major suit, so don't ever criticize my spelling. Means that they make 90-degree angles, okay? So two lines intersecting, perpendicular. Parallel lines means that they have the same slope. If they just intersect, that just means the two lines intersect and their slopes will not be the same. One thing about perpendicular, how can I tell if two lines are perpendicular? Well, let's see here. If I have a slope of 1/2 and a slope of -2, and I multiply those together, I get -1. Right? This -1 tells me that they were perpendicular. So multiplying two slopes together, getting -1 tells me that they're perpendicular. This is called an inverse reciprocal. So if I have a slope of 1/6, my inverse reciprocal is -6. Okay? If I have a slope of 9/15, my inverse reciprocal is -15/9. I know it can be reduced. I'm not trying to get to that. But I'm just pointing out that's the easy way of finding perpendicular slopes. It gives them to you real quickly. You just take the inverse reciprocal of it. Okay? Otherwise, intersecting lines just have two slopes that intersect each other. They just are not equal to each other. And then finally, we get to study number 3 down here. And study 3 does something that you won't believe. Since this course is called pre-calculus. We thought we would throw some calculus in on you so that you will be experts when you get to the calculus class. Pre-calculus, and you're going to be studying some calculus, and you're taking up the difference equation at this point. What is the difference equation? It's slope. It's a trick. So they're just trying to get you to look at slope a different way, okay? So don't get confused. That's all they're talking about is slope at that point. Cool? And it makes it a little bit easier on you. Now, going back to my slides here, just want to make certain you're aware. Make certain you tell me your course name and what section number you're in, or I will get lost. I do it very easily. Thank you, and I'll talk to you next time.